That's right, guys. We moved the 302 in our dining room. A little backstory on this engine. This is a 1996 Ford 302 V8 or 5 liter, as a lot of people know it as, out of a 1996 Ford Explorer. A few years ago, I met up with another channel, Junkyard Dogs, out in LA, and we pulled this motor out of an Explorer. The Explorer only had about 60,000 miles on it. So we went over there, we pulled the motor out, and my main focus was actually to get the GT40 cylinder heads, which are actually sitting down there, and the GT40 intake manifold, which is sitting here. Those are very common upgrades for Fox body Mustangs, but I got a hell of a deal with Junkyard Dogs. We pulled the motor and actually got the whole long block. So bottom end, heads, the GT40 3-bar heads, and the intake manifold. However, that was actually years ago. If you were to watch one of our very first videos here on this channel, we pulled the motor apart on our porch, completely inspected it in hopes of, getting the cylinder heads machined, replacing a lot of parts, the cam and whatnot, and then throwing that motor in the Fox body Mustang. The reason why I'm replacing the motor in the Fox body Mustang is because it overheats a lot, even though it has every cooling upgrade in the book. And most importantly, it has very low oil pressure. After a few hot laps on the track, it will actually read on my odometer gauge 10 psi at idle, 5 psi at idle. It's on its way out. But like I said, that was years ago. The motor has been sitting outside for a long time, and I don't know what I'm gonna find once I tear this apart. So on this episode, what I want to do is I want to take the motor apart and just check it out, see in what condition it's in, see if it's even worth saving. Maybe I can clean it up the best I can and put it together, and it might run fine, or it might not, it might blow up. In that case, I might take it back out and just have it rebuilt, but I want to try. And I think it'll be very interesting for you guys to watch as I build this motor here in my dining room. I mean, it's not much of a dining room anymore, it's more of a parts area. But hey, that's what happens when you don't have a garage. So I'm gonna take this motor apart. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to drain whatever's in that oil pan. This thing's been rained on. It still has oil in it. I have no idea what gross stuff is gonna come out of that oil pan. But I'm gonna go ahead and bring a container in here, drain it, and then I wanna flip the motor over and take the oil pan off. First, I wanna show you guys something. When I put this motor in storage, I actually taped the cylinder bores up, and when we brought it in here, I started to peel it back, and to my surprise, years later, the cylinder bores and pistons still look really clean. I mean, there's a little bit of surface rust here, but nothing too crazy. I mean, it still looks really good. I don't know what the crank and rods are gonna look like, but if it's anything like up here, it's not gonna look so great. I mean, there's nothing that we can't clean up. I mean, I am gonna be replacing a lot of stuff on this motor. I'm gonna be replacing, all of these lifters and push rods and whatnot. I have a cam for it up here somewhere. New oil pan, new oil pump, water pump, timing set, pickup, everything. Everything's gonna be refreshed, all fresh gaskets and seals. Valve springs and whatnot. So yeah, that's a nice surprise. So yeah, guys, first things first, let's drain whatever is in that motor and see what's inside. Oh my god, look at all that water. Oh, that's so gross. I'm gonna keep this from splashing. I hope you guys are seeing this, but this So gross. Sludge. Alright, I got all the bolts out. I think the only thing that's holding it in place now is silicone. So let's try to gently remove this oil pan. Hopefully it's not too gross. Ha! It removed itself. Okay. And there's our bottom end. I should probably get something, I should probably put something underneath here because it's gonna keep dripping from under there, but I got some plastic here. I'm gonna go ahead and lay it out and we'll flip the motor over and keep looking at it. All right, I laid some plastic down. I think I'm gonna go ahead and remove this tape just to kind of see if all this under like this is clean. Not too bad. Definitely do need to, fully remove the tape and clean it with a Scotch-Brite or something, but it's looking good. All right, let's flip this thing over. Houston, we have a problem. I didn't have a bolt short enough to bolt the block to the engine stand, so I had to space it with a couple of nuts. And when you look over here, it's actually making contact with the engine stand, so I can't flip it all the way over. That sucks. So I'm gonna have to, at some point, replace this with the correct size bolt. But for now, as you can see, it's really clean. I am very surprised. This thing is remarkably clean. Let me grab a light so I can show you a little better. Wow. I mean, the oil pump pickup is a little dirty. The oil pump itself is a little dirty, but the rest of the motor doesn't really look that bad. I think it looks a lot cleaner in person than it does on camera, but I mean, look at those piston skirts. It's surprisingly clean. And if you see, I can rotate the engine no problem. That's compression. It popped tape off the other side, I'm pretty sure, yep. We got compression. So, to my surprise, this engine's actually really clean still. After sitting outside for 2-3 years, it still looks really clean in the bottom end, as you guys saw. It still turns over smoothly with one hand. I can, turn the whole rotating assembly over. Just needs, a lot of maintenance, a lot of replacement stuff coming its way, but hey, I'm gonna try to build this thing. I don't have very much experience building engines, but we'll see how it goes. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Will this engine hold up? It is gonna take a beating out on the track. So you guys should definitely consider subscribing. Let me know in the comments. Do you guys recommend anything? Parts wise, procedure wise, should I pull the pistons out and hone the cylinders? I really don't think it's necessary. It's still really clean. Like I said, the block has like 60,000 miles on it, so I'm pretty sure those bearings are pretty good. Should I pull a couple bearing caps off and see what the condition is of the crank journals? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. But for now, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.